What's up, everyone? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's theater games. Uh, one's on ESPN, which I love, Bucks Raptors, and we got Heat Lakers. So we have a couple open sequences, and I want to close them. So as I went in my last video, I cover this all live. So right now we are up 72 units now. Of course, that's not withstanding the open sequences like Toledo Ball State, which lost, or Texas Tech, which lost as leg 2. Okay, if anyone followed that, then that's what that's at. So for leg 3s, I plugged in Tulsa to cover Tulane. I like the metric. I think they do it. If they don't, it is a 7-unit loss. Be prepared for that. We're up 72 units. It's not a NFT. It's not a Bored Ape. But like I said, typically with leg 3s, I always try and save the best college metrics. For me, this was the best college play in the last 2 days. It was the best overall play in the last 2 days. That's the reason I chose it as a leg 3 for today. I've been using leg 2s lately, if you haven't noticed. If you don't know about the legs, please watch my last video. It's kind of long, but towards the I'd say the early and middle part, I talk about the legs. So anyway, who do I like? Yeah, I like Tulsa to cover Tulane. I specifically bought it up to 14 points because I just think 13 is a weird number. 314, there's always something weird with that. We caught a couple clips earlier this year on the number 232. So for the people that love gematria, maybe you can help out with that. But yeah, I've noticed with certain odd numbers, 232, if in college it'll be like 133, the Masonic numbers, it always seems to clip. So I bought up to 14 to cover, for Tulsa to cover there. Now, the first game I noticed that stuck out to me that I really thought was interesting was the Knicks -9. And the Magic -2 I also thought was interesting. So I want to err on the side of caution, and I don't want to do a bunch of leg 3s when we can kind of pick our spots a little better. But B, at the end of the day, we're playing plenty of sequences, and the whole goal is to close them out with good metrics. I don't see many people taking the Knicks -9 here. I don't think people look at the Knicks as a team that's in the playoffs. I do, and I don't look at them as a play-in team. I think the Wizards and the Raptors will be your play-in teams, but I really think here people are going to be pounding the Spurs +9. I could be wrong, but I like this one a lot. So the Knicks I do like as a leg 2. Now and I didn't plug that in. Yeah, let's see if I did. Yeah, I did. Knicks cover Spurs. And I thought it was fitting because we lost the Spurs cover in the Nets 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago. So I thought it was fitting to go in here and pick the Spurs again. And this time we are going to be fading them. So hopefully it works out. So anyway, I do like that as a leg 2. Another one I love here is the Raptors. I am going to buy this down to 4. But we got Giannis back and he's healthy. But I think Van Fleet's going to be the story. I mean, if you look at who's out for the Bucks, the public doesn't look at that. The public looks at Giannis. That's literally all they look at. They look at 24-13 versus 16-21. Sure, you have your sharps who are going to be on top of things, but for the most part, I believe, especially on ESPN, people are going to be pounding, the Bucks. The public will be. And on ESPN, they want to show that the Raptors are a capable team. So I expect them to have a good game, and I expect them to cover. Again, I'm buying that down to 4. I believe I plugged that one in too. I don't know if the rest of that statement. I'm guessing it's something to the effect of maybe sports is connect with other things. But yeah, I would agree. If that's it, I'll have to read it, but I think it is. So here you see Raptors covers Pacers was a leg 1 we lost. I don't know why. Maybe it's OCD, but sometimes I like to do my leg 2s with the same team. So here we like the Raptors again. We like them to cover the Bucks. we've been fading the Bucks a little bit lately, and we've been doing good with it. Okay, so I know might take a second longer for the people that are privy to how I do my units and system, but for the people that aren't, I just wanted to show you literally how I do it. And then in this case, we bought just so we have an exact number. So I just think that's a smart thing to do. I think that could be a clip as well. So that's going to be a leg 2 that the Raptors cover the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, for the leg 3s, I already went over Tulsa. I went over to my last video. There's nothing crazy about it. Again, it's just they have, and I went over it earlier, they have a horrible record against the spread. Magic Thunder. I like that as a leg 3. And then the reason I like that as a leg 3, it moved again. So the Magic were 2-point favorites. Now they're 1-point favorites. Soon it's going to be close to even. It's an odd one, but I think they're going to pull some kind of injury scheme. SGA was listed day to day, not less than an hour ago. They pulled him up, and I think just anybody seeing this line is going to be pounding the Thunder. I don't see people taking the Magic with this line. Look at their line. Look at who's out. That's half of their starting lineup. So I just don't see people touching the Magic. They have a worse record. There's just no reason to pick them. So here I like the Magic as a leg 3. I really do think they win that game. I think it's a trap. And again, the Raptors, the Knicks are leg 2. Then another one I like right here is the Hawks. I think the Hawks are going to, I'll cover that later, it's just from Discord. I think the Hawks are going to win this game simply because of their record against the spread. Believe it or not, they have now surpassed the Heat. They're worse than them against the spread. And I think that, again, they have to be pushed as an actual legitimate team. I think Sacramento is a pretender. Same with the Jazz, the Pacers, winning early on. Sacramento is a little better because they actually have some draws. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to show that the Hawks are the better team. This is a narrative game. Probably not going to get a ton of action. So I absolutely love the Hawks in this game. Again, these are going to be leg 1s. So when, this one I might make a leg 2. If you're thinking to make one a leg 2, then you can. But personally, I like it as a leg 1. Here we got the Pistons Warriors. Now we know the Warriors are going to win. The question is, do they cover? And I think they do. And it's not for any crazy reason. I just think they cover because I think they really want to set this narrative that and it's interesting they both have the exact same record against the spread outside of the tie. But I think it's interesting that, they're going to paint the narrative that the Warriors are just unstoppable at home. Basically, that the home crowd can bring them back to life. They can do anything at home. And I think the Warriors win this game and cover. So I do like the Warriors to cover that game. On the Blazers game, this one I was tossed. I really wasn't sure. And I was looking at both sides. If you look at the spreads, you would really think Minnesota. And if you look at the fact that the Blazers won the first 2 games, you would think Minnesota. For the simple fact that the public should be slamming Portland, and they want to make it look like this is a good rivalry between the 2 guards. So I'm kind of twisted on this one. I'm going to go with Minnesota, and it's honestly, I have weird recall, but I do remember, let's see what, I don't remember, it wasn't that long ago. It was on the 12th of December, okay, so yeah, it was only about 3 weeks ago. I faded this game. I picked the Timberwolves with the logic that they were going to make it look, the guards on both sides are arguably the best backcourt in the game between Edwards and Russell and Ant and Dame. So I thought that was going to be the narrative. Game 1, Blazers, then the Wolves. But I think the Wolves definitely take it this time. Like I said, I was very twisted in the beginning. I wasn't sure. But I do think The Wolves need to be a playoff team. They need to be in that picture. They can't fall too far behind, and I think they need to show that. I remember in the last game specifically, I might be a little off on the numbers, but Ant and Dame combined for something like 80, while Russell and Edwards combined for something like 68. I could be a little off, but I think it was something like 38 and 30 versus something like 40 and 40. They went nuts, 40 and 35. So I think this time it's the opposite. If you've been following from the beginning, you know how I feel about the Blazers. You know that I think they're going to make the playoffs and win the division, make a run. But I don't think they win this game. I think the Timberwolves do win. And you could do the money line or the plus 1.5. As you know, I do always like the spreads. So we're not doing a ton of games. Those are really the only ones that stuck out to me. The other ones, they're metrics, so I'm just going to show you them. I do like Virginia to cover Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a really good record against the spread. Not really good, but a record that shouldn't hold against the spread. Meanwhile, Virginia has a record that also shouldn't hold on the other end. So I like Virginia to cover Pittsburgh here. It's going to be a leg one unit. Same thing with Longwood. I got them on my book. Most books have Longwood. They are a lot of times the smaller athletic conferences won't have an option, but I was able to get them on my book. So if you are, I do like the under just because Charleston South has a terrible. They've gone over like on every game almost, so that's due to break. Same thing with Iowa State covering Oklahoma. Iowa State really bad record against the spread, so I like them to cover Oklahoma. And the only one here, it doesn't need to be in here twice, because as I told you guys, I do like as a third leg Tulsa to cover Tulane. So that's going to be for the Toledo loss yesterday, the under. That's going to be for 4 units. I think that's my favorite play of the day. And then for the NBA, the Magic is. I just think they're both really good plays, so we'll see. Again, there's 7-unit losses if we lose. You'll see the math over time, as I've been showing you. In very quick work, we've done a good job on Vegas. Somebody pointed out to me that if somebody, because right now again it's 72 units, notwithstanding the open sequences, but let's just say for hypothetical purposes, we lost both leg threes and lost 14 units, and that put us at 57. Well, if someone was betting $1,000 and tailing us for 6 days, they just made $57,000. Might be a reason we got shut down. Might be. But anyway, I think that these are the good plays. As you can see, I did plug Iowa State in as a leg 2. It's a college game that I'm not loving it as a leg 3, but I do think it's a good leg 2. They are bad enough against the spread, in my opinion, and Oklahoma is good enough against the spread that I think it warrants it as a leg 2. I'll go. I go into every video, but I'll go into it why I pick teams that are bad against the spread, and it's not just that. There's other metrics I take into account: public action, handles, all that stuff. So yeah, we got the Raptors covering the Bucks as a leg 2, but we're buying it down to 4 points. So I'll even just put in here, but because I already got mine, so just make sure if you want to tail exactly. Some people want to tail me exactly, which is cool. It's fine. So I want them to have exact. I prefer, to be detailed. So the Raptors is bought down to 4. I do think that the Magic are going to cover leg 3 there, and we got the Knicks covering the Spurs, and then these are leg 1s. The leg 1s are. I deleted it on accident, but I remembered it was the Longwood Charleston South under. So that's going to be a leg 1. And again, I know this is taking a little bit longer than usual, but if it's just because I know a lot of people, you probably see all of these, like this long list of numbers and metrics, and I'm just trying to show you in live time exactly how do my increments. So, again, this is a leg 1. It's only going to be for 1 unit. Just because while Charleston South is, I believe, due to go under because they've gone over so much, it's not one like Tulsa where they're at like 9% on the over. So I do like the under for a leg 1 there. And Raptors to cover Bucks. That's going to be for the loss on the Jazz covering the Kings. That was from last night. And for the Wizards covering the Bucks, we had that loss. So now we got Iowa State as leg 2 there. So I think you can see how this system works now. We close out sequences that we lost. And we're not going to always close out the 3-leggers, but we do way more than, we have to do 7 for every one we lose. And as I said, we do about 25-30. Now, looking through the other games, I'm not going to lie, there's no games that jump out to me that I absolutely love. I mean, there's games that are fun to play, of course. Again, the Hawks I like. As a first leg, all these, the rest will be first legs. I just like the Hawks because I think, again, they have to show them as a good playoff team. And they're actually now worse than the Heat against the spread. Heat Lakers, both terrible against the spread. And it's on ESPN. Very interesting. I honestly do think that the Heat are going to cover the spread. I'll play it as a leg 1. It's nothing crazy. But I just think 7.5 is a lot of points. And people are probably going to be loving the Lakers at home with those kind of points. So I like the Heat to cover there. That's going to be a leg 1. As I said, I do like the Wolves to cover, Raptors, Knicks, and Magic. So yeah, we're playing about half of the games, which is fine. I'm staying away from the Suns. I have a very good read on the Suns, and I also know when not to play them. And tonight is one of those nights. If you guys want to play them, that's fine. If you want my advice, I'll give it to you, but I'm not playing that game. Grizzlies, the line doesn't look suspicious at all, so there's no reason to play that game. Same with Philadelphia. This is what I mean. A lot of times you'll see the same game, but you'll see like Philly -1. And it'll be the same lineups. But in this case, it's 6.5. So I would lean Philly, but I'm not playing that game. And yeah, that's really it. Like I said, I wanted to make sure, of course, just to cover the ESPN games for you guys. Like I said, I would go with the Heat and the Raptors. I love anyway. I love the Raptors. But as far as leg 3 goes, like I said, you could always just pause it where I did it in the video. But it's going to be Magic, and it's going to be Tulsa, both covering. And that's really all we got. Like I said, it's all about long term. It's like any kind of investment. If you zoom out and look at it versus zooming in, there's going to be ups and downs. We've been on such a uprise, not uprise. We've been on such a parabolic climb. It's kind of funny. Our channel and how we do as far as beating Vegas both go parabolic. But yeah, so we're up 72 units, and even if, like I said, we lost 2 or 3 3-leggers, we'd still be up 50 plus units, and that's exactly how the system works. So you see, we're going to update Toledo. We're going to add Tulsa there as a 3rd leg. For the Texas Tech loss, we're going to add in Magic as a 3rd leg, and etc. So we've been doing this for 7 days, maybe 8. I don't know. I haven't slept much, to be quite honest. But this is why we got shut down. I mean, I say it a lot. If you're new, you could check out my first video. I'll put a link in there. You can see, I'll explain exactly what our channel's about and why we got shut down and the others didn't. But yeah, I always appreciate everybody leaving comments. And I've been getting people back into the Discord. People have been commenting, and like I said, I can tell the difference between the people that really want to get in, and I've responded to them, and I'm making private links to get them in and get you guys in. So, it's just a matter of you get one person in there, and it really can ruin an entire Discord. So, I appreciate everybody that is always insightful, and whether it be on the channel, whether it be in the Discord, always showing love. As I said, the movement has been parabolic since our return. This is just to, like, none of the other people are going to show you this. I just want to because it's humbling, okay? This is very humbling for us, like, just to do this in a matter of a couple days, and it just shows that we're not going anywhere. And we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep telling the truth. And whatever, you guys want us to talk about, if there's a commonality that we're all noticing, a specific thing, I'm going to talk about it. I don't care what it is. But we're going to beat Vegas today, like we always do. And I just wanted to make sure everybody got their picks. If you want, like, Rockets, Pelicans, Nets, Bulls, just let me know in the comments. I'm just not loving those games. I'm staying away from them. But those ones I picked, I do like. I do think that they come through. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.